Hello everybody, I'm Yvette of DIY Uniquely Yvette. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I hope you like what you see in this video. If you're old, you're only as old as you feel. And today, if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, comment below, tell me what you think of the project. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cute. It turns out really amazing. I think you're gonna like it. If you saw the thumbnail, you have an idea where we're going with this thing. It's looking great, but I'm gonna add a lot of color to it. I hope you like it. So last year I built this planter box, like 4 foot. I think it's a 4 foot planter box. And I kind of lost interest in planting anything. I did try to grow something in it, which failed. So now it's just kind of this catch-off or little extra catch-off or junk I have lying around the shop. I thought I'd take it apart. And as you can see, I already started with taking one of the boards off, which is right here. And I'm going to make something. Here is one of the boards that I took from the planter box, and I'm going to use this template to cut out this shape. And I don't know if you can tell, it's a flower petal. And I'm going to cut out 22 flower petals from the two sides of the 22 flower petals from the two sides of the planter box. First, I'm going to draw this petal on here, and then I'll cut it out on my scroll saw. After I started laying the flower out together, I thought, I think I'm just going to have to just stick with 18 pieces. So there are 18 petals here. And now I'm going to create a circle here to put in the middle. I don't know. I wonder how, once this is all together, if it's going to be heavy. One of the things that I would have liked to potentially do is make these back petals a little shorter than the front ones, just to give it a little bit more depth. So I think what I should have done for that to happen is potentially to make the back petals longer, maybe longer in some way. I don't know. I was just using one pattern and that's all I had, so that's what I used. Another thing that was a possibility was to curve something. I was thinking maybe, not curve, I could do a miter cut somehow where the petals would stick slightly up like this. But I'm not exactly sure how to achieve that. So if you know, it'd be great if you did a comment below. I was thinking potentially like on the base of the circle, know where every one of the petals would sit, and then put like a miter cut there. But I don't know, I actually don't know how to do that either. But I would have loved the whole flower to just sit slightly, all the petals to sit slightly forward. Again, giving it more depth, but flat is fine, I guess. It'll still be 3D-ish from being thick, which I don't know, being so thick, it's like three wood thicknesses deep, with the circle to the petal to the next petal behind it. And that's a bit much, but I don't know. We'll see how it looks in the end. Since I don't have a full, a wide enough piece of wood to make the circle in the middle of the flowers, I'm having to attach one, or rather glue one together. So this contraption is what I'm doing with that. I've clamped everything together. I'm hoping for a flat enough piece of solid wood that I can use my circle jig to make a circle out of. Hopefully it'll work out. It's a little thick, but it's probably gonna be so heavy. But I'm gonna sand this clean and see what I think of this line in the middle. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to get it filled in or what. I don't know. We'll see what I think when I sand it all. Okay, what I've done here is I have labeled, you see that? This is going to be blue, 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 okay? And then like around here, for example, these back ones are white, white. This and these top ones, all these top ones that are not blue are going to be red like this. Red, red, and so forth. I haven't labeled this one yet because I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to paint it first individually. That's why I've labeled them all, because I want to take it all apart and paint the individual pieces and then assemble after I paint. Okay, the way this turned out is I'm going to have 6 petals that are blue, navy blue, 6 petals that are red, and 6 petals that are white. The white and red will be alternated together, and then the blue will be all clumped together like the stars, and like the stars on a flag all together with the blue, and the red and white like stripes, sort of, petals. So I'm going to paint everything separately because I think it would be easier to paint and not have a bunch of pooling paint around the various petals or risking getting paint onto other petals. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to figure out how I want to paint as far as colors and style with the circle after I finish this other stuff. Ready to add some stars to my blue pieces. This is a stencil I got from Amazon, and I'll leave a link to these below. But it comes with 3 in a pack, but these are the biggest ones, and I think this will be the best to use. I'm going to use this Pixie spray adhesive. See, it's a light tack repositionable adhesive for stencils. So I'm going to use this to stick the this stencil down to my piece, and I hope it works out. I'm just trying this for the first time. I'll also leave a link to this spray for Amazon. So if it works out, I mean, if you want it. I'm also going to be using these makeup sponges to sponge on the paint. I'm going to be using this Mod Podge matte to hopefully seal these stars in before I paint. So first we'll spray this on here on the, let me see, actually I should see where I want to place it first to see which stars I'm going to use. I kind of feel, I did test this out on a test piece, which actually didn't work out as well as I'd like it to. I didn't like this number of stars on it, but I don't see how I can do less. And I'm trying for no running, so we'll just see how it works. I think I'm just going to spray this where I haven't used it yet, the adhesive yet. And it says to hold it 12 inches away from the stencil and let it dry for 1 minute. Well, let's see. It says it's pre-positionable, but I'm hoping to just put it down where it's gonna go right off the bat. That's that. I'm not even gonna try to get this exact location every time I do one of these. I'm just gonna wing it. So I think, yeah, it's tacked down. And now we're going to use this brush and the paint, the glue to fill it in. This glue supposedly dries clear, and I'm hoping it will help me to have zero bleed. I should make sure to get into all the nooks and crannies. The person whose video I was watching regarding this, she said that she had better results. You could use your something, a heat gun or whatever, to dry this glue out faster. But she said she felt she liked the results better when she didn't do that. She let it air dry. So that's what I'm going to do. This glue is completely dry. I'm going to use light coats just to get it started because I'm not sure how much is too much. I like how it feels. It feels pretty dry, pretty solid. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit and then keep coating it until I feel it's enough. I used the heat gun to dry the paint a little bit more so that I could put a few more coats on within some type of reasonable time. And now I'm taking it off, and I have good, it's mostly good, but some bad, like this. I shouldn't have tried to get these edges here, but mostly it's pretty good. I can get around these little edges with some glue, but it looks pretty good. It's drying as fast as I get it on there. So by the time I'm finished my last star, the first 2 stars are already dry. I also just started using my heat gun regardless, to just hurry it up. It's working pretty well. What I don't like about the results is this, and let me show you. I hope I can get it on film. I can't tell how to see. I can only see it when I turn, but around these stars, while it looks crisp, around them, when you just angle the piece like this, you can see the glue, where the glue basically comes out past the stencil. And I know that I put it on as light as I could put it on, as light as I knew to put it on. So it really shouldn't come out this far, but it did. And if anybody knows how I could get that off, please write it in the comments. A little tiny bit of it I could peel off, but it's just not, it's clear but shiny around my stars like some hideous thing. I don't like it. But other than that, the glue works well to keep the paint where it needs to be. I just don't want the glue everywhere. If you're just looking straight on, or maybe if you put on a glossy top coat, which I didn't want to do. I wanted my final product to be flat. I don't want the product to be shiny. I just wanted it to be a flat color. So I was going to use a flat top coat to protect it. But it might be better with that glowy glue to put a shiny top coat on, sort of like to blend it all together so you can't even tell that. But I didn't want it glowing. I didn't want it shiny. But I don't know. It's for my front door, so my front signpost. And I think overall, aside from the imperfections, it'll be a cute result. So what I've done here is drill holes and all around the petals, but actually, it's pretty central, but it's just not in the right position because you know, it still has a, well, that's not, see, it's still rocky. So I'm going to try putting ones down here closer to the end of the pedal. I also use this counter sink bit to sink those screws a little bit more. Unfortunately, what I don't know, I mean, I use 1-inch screws. Normally this would be too short for these 2 thick pieces of wood, but like I said, I countersink that 1 or 2 of them has gone deeper than I meant to go, so I hope it hasn't gone too far. We'll see when we turn it over. I'm going to finish putting these screws in, all the places I drew holes, then I'm going to do the inner part of it. I still am not getting the results I want, the stability I want for this piece, because see, even though I put all these screws on here, it's still rocky like this. It's driving me nuts. I just feel like even if I spend all this time putting more screws up here, I don't have any guarantee that it's going to stay steady. So I'm going to try adding these pieces, and hopefully it'll give the stability. I just don't know. I don't want to keep drilling more and more screws, but I don't know. I have no concept of how to make things stable on my own without somebody giving me a hint. So maybe I should ask Mark, but anyway, I'm doing this myself. So I'm going to put this on here. I didn't want it any thicker. You know, you have the first layer of petals, the second layer, you have the circle is another layer, and now we got this. That's 4 layers. This thing is getting out of hand. We're finally at the place where we'll do the circle, and I've taped it off. I think I showed this earlier, but I'll talk about it again. This part will be blue. This stripe here will be red. This will be white, and all the rest of this will be red. I hope I have enough red left because this thing is about done. So I'll paint the blue first, then the white, then I'll take the tape off and let that dry. Then I'll re-tape so that I can tape off the spots where I'm going to do the red color. And this blue roughly lines up with the blue that's on the petals. The blue petals, it roughly lines up with the blue petals, I should say. The last thing we need to do is to put 2 stars on the blue part because it's just too big and it's just too big. So I'm going to use probably these 2 here. Remember, we have to wait 1 minute until it's ready. Let that dry and then we'll paint. There. And that's our top. Now, the last thing to do is to attach this circle to the petals, and we're done.